All right. Let's get this joint shared up. Let's get it going. Yeah, the old setup is just better, man. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, man.
Yeah.
We was trying to sit in them stools. I was trying to make it professional. It's just not enough space, man. My next spot though, I'm gonna make sure I got a podcast space.
Okay.
Let me see. All right. So I got the link. So what I'm gonna do is text you the link, and then you set it up. And I'm gonna add the link to that post. That's a good picture though. We did that.
It's a real good
Yeah,
picture.
yeah. That's nice. That's nice. All right. So we got somebody watching already. What's going on, y'all? Pick and Roll Podcast. We just had one viewer pop in and out. We getting started first. So here's the issue, right? Here's the issue. We can't get the link until we actually go live. And to be able to share the link so people can watch on multiple platforms, Facebook, YouTube, uh, we have to kick it off first. So now what we're doing is bringing awareness to the show. Unless anybody want to come over here and work for free and help us out with a lot of this stuff, we just got to do this for the first couple minutes. But shout out to the YouTube audience that'll be here. The comments are open. We are back. Let me see here. So we're going to go to this, man. All right, let me see. So we're going to go here. Share. Let me see here. All right. Hey, yo, I'm gonna save some of this because I really got a lot to say. I got some questions to ask you. Let me see. Do. So before we get started, man, like I mean, pre-joint.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel about the Aaron Judge contract, man?
I knew it was gonna take a lot to resign him. The Padres offered him 400.
Okay.
Where is San Diego getting all the money from? Because they offered Trey Turner like 360.
Yeah. He took it from the Phillies.
So I don't know where they getting all this money from, but 9 years though. Out of them 9 years, I think maybe like the last 2 or 3 years, he might be cooked.
Oh yeah.
Them last 2-3 years.
Well, listen, man, them big time hitters like that, guys his size, them hips start to go, elbow injury here, knee injury there. I mean, I just hope he's not running like Albert Pujols. That might, that was sad to see. Like my man can't even get down the first base line, but he was still hitting them though.
Yeah.
They had a good lineup around him, so he was still hitting them. So I don't know. Big contracts were handed out. My Mariners made a lot of trades.
A
lot of solid trades, and I know Mitch Haniger just went to San Fran.
Yeah.
So we lost him, but and I think there's still another move in the works.
Yeah.
I saw Taiwan Walker also
Phillies.
Got picked up by the Phillies. That's big time. Former Mariner draft pick. Didn't quite pan out the way we wanted him to. He didn't become that ace, but he's still a solid pitcher. But I think our pitching staff is fine. If we just get another solid starter in the rotation. What will put us over the top is if we would have pulled in like a Verlander or something. If we would have landed a big fish, that would have been good. But Verlander clearly does not want to compete. He went to the Mets. Yeah, he said I saw a post where it said Justin Verlander is tired of the pressure, the playoff pressure. So he decided to go to the Mets. I was like, damn, yo.
But the Mets they just signed Jose Quintana, so they putting together a nice little rotation.
But it's the thing. Why do you think they fade every year?
The Mets?
Yeah.
Injuries at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Injuries at the wrong time.
That's definitely it. That's definitely it. I mean, you could call it, but also too, it's almost like look at what's my man name in the playoffs. He get blasted first game. You're supposed to be the ace.
Who's that?
Their ace.
Oh, DeGrom?
DeGrom, yeah. I almost said Syndergaard. I don't know why he's on the Phillies.
Yeah.
But I was trying to like cycle through it. But it's just that always seems to happen. Their best players don't seem to show up. The ones that are available don't seem to show up in the playoffs. So I don't know.
He signed a big deal with Texas. How you feel about that? Seeing him?
Oh yeah, there's always going to be an AL West team to land the big fish. I just don't know if they have the team around.
No,
Verlander to really push.
No, I think with DeGrom going to the Rangers, that's still putting them at like third, fourth best in the AL West.
Yeah, or DeGrom. Yeah, that's
now that Verlander's gone, is Seattle might make a push to win that division.
I'm hoping. The Rangers landed him. They weren't competitive at all. I think they're still a couple years away from being a year away against us. And that's big to say because, look, man, we've been sorry for a long time. I saw you put on your post too. You thought you guys were going to lose Judge. You said it's going to be just like when you lost Cano.
Yeah.
That worked out for you guys.
Yeah.
In the long run.
It
took a few years.
It took a few years.
And it took a couple years not to work out for us.
Right.
Yeah, because Cano took us all the way back in the other direction.
Yeah, I made that post because it just was dragging.
Yeah.
And then the more it dragged, the more teams started to put their bid in. And then I just was like, you know what? Just like at this point, just make a decision.
Yeah, man. So that was our good baseball talk to get it started. Welcome to the Pick and Roll Podcast, Season 3. We're going to call it Prime Time. I don't know what episode this is. We're somewhere around 50. But we're gonna start titling them with the lead-off story, right? And you see the thumbnail picture. You see what we're doing. Today, we got to get into it. And this is it's an important topic because it's something we need to speak on as Black men in the community when we talk about this prime time situation. But for the people who are unaware that haven't landed on social media and been away from sports, maybe you've been working triple shifts for the past 5 days. I salute you. You got to do what you got to do, but you're really missing out on some great content. Deion Sanders, coach at Jackson State for 3 seasons, led them to a stellar record, domination of the SWAC, 2-time Celebration Bowl champions, basically HBCU national championship. We'll get into that and what that means. He accepted the job offer at Colorado. It had been a rumor for quite a few days, and then he ended up formally accepting the offer. And this is prior to Jackson State playing in a bowl game in a couple weeks. This has been one of the most talked about sports topics I can remember for a long time outside of Kyrie Irving. This is polarizing within the Black community. On one side, you got people that are happy for Deion, saying they understand it. On the other side, you got people calling Deion a sellout, saying he's doing wrong by Jackson State. He's not doing what he should have been. And this is, he spent 3 years at a place nobody even close to his stature would go. And he pulled in top recruits from major colleges, even got accused of cheating. They said he was giving $1 million to players when Jackson State doesn't have $1 million for themselves.
No.
Yeah. So by drawing Travis Hunter, they got the offensive lineman. There's a couple other 4-star players. And then his son, Shedeur Sanders, who we'll get into in a bit, because I'm curious what you think about him as a player. But let's start here, right? Deion Sanders accepting the offer at University of Colorado. What was your initial reaction to it?
It's a good move.
Okay.
It was a good move. Like, what do you expect? Like, do you want someone to work at McDonald's for $12 an hour for 30 years?
Yeah.
No, like people got to, like, the people that's calling him a sellout. You gotta realize like what sports and these head coaches are. When you go 11-0 in college, I don't care what level you are. Programs are gonna call.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna call. He went 9-2 his second year.
Yep.
He went 4-2 the COVID shortened year. Still good. And 11-0 this year. So he made the right move. The right situation. Like, look, he didn't have the resources at Jackson State.
Not at all.
He had the resources for the HBCU, for the SWAC. He had the resources for them.
Southwestern Athletic Conference, because I feel people need to be educated on how college football works.
But as far as like getting you're not gonna go you got Travis Hunter, cool, but you're not gonna get you don't have the resources nor the money to get them real big 5-star players. You gotta wait for them transfer portal guys to come down to you. Now at Colorado, you got the resources. Now you could travel. You and your coaching staff can travel to New Jersey, travel to Florida,
Alaska, wherever.
to sit in these living rooms and try to recruit players.
Go to Samoa. It's the Pac-12.
Right. So all in all, it was a good move. Colorado, people acting like he went to a national power. Colorado was 1-11 last year. 1-11.
That's my thing. Like, who can name the last great player in the NFL from Colorado?
Cordell Stewart.
That's about it. But continue.
They were 1-11, so he got his hands full. He's bringing over. I'm pretty sure he's going to bring players with him.
Yes,
and then
he already brought. I think they said 10 players are coming over. He said 10.
Yes.
Okay.
His 2 sons are coming.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure Travis Hunter is coming.
Travis Hunter is coming. He already entered the transfer portal.
And a lot of them guys that's transferred from Alabama, a lot of them guys transferred from Clemson. I'm pretty sure a few of them are gonna go over there.
Exactly. Yep.
And am I expecting a big turnaround from Colorado from 1-11? No, but face it, 2 wins is an improvement.
Yes. First of all, 1-11 in the Pac-12 is a disgrace.
Is a disgrace.
Yes, that's not the best football conference.
And it's like, if you're looking at it, UCLA and USC are leaving the Pac-12.
They are.
So you can really come in and be one of the top 3 teams in the Pac-12. Only 2 that you really got to worry about is Oregon and Utah. And Deion, like he's so polarized that a lot of kids are going to want to go to Colorado. Colorado is going to be back on the map for the first time since Cordell Stewart and Rashaan Salam. So
yeah,
I think it was a good move.
And let's think of the reasons why Deion has the tools to really help even more black athletes shine.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, one thing about Jackson State is it's a publicly funded university in the poorest state capital in the poorest state in the United States. This is the same state capital and state that Brett Favre just stole a bunch of money from.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same state capital and state that's currently having a Flint, Michigan level water crisis, and they don't have clean water.
Mm-mm.
There were stories where the players couldn't take clean showers and they'd have to jump in the pool with the chlorine just to get clean after a practice or a game.
Yes.
I don't think people realize what the conditions are in Jackson, Mississippi right now. I don't think people have a frame of reference to what's going on in Jackson, Mississippi.
Mm-mm.
All right. And they don't have the money to even continue the type of poaching that Deion was able to do. Let's talk about the man's car being broken in. He was being robbed. They robbed the coach's office while he was in there. They don't have a stadium to even handle the fanfare that Deion brings and the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Deion brought an ESPN contract to the SWAC. There was no ESPN contract. They were barely airing the Celebration Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Most people who are against Deion have never watched the Celebration Bowl.
No.
I watched it the last 2 years because of Deion Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
They got smacked the first year.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year they went in and absolutely dominated.
Mm-hmm.
And Shedeur Sanders looked like he took a massive leap in quarterback.
Yeah.
The team just looked more well-rounded. They looked like a well-tuned machine.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had decent uniforms, which was dope. Something Deion pleaded on. Like, hey, let's all get together, put our own money up, my money, and let's get these kids' names on the back of their jerseys. That's not too hard. If your local PAL football program can do it, why can't this university do it? You want to know why? Because they don't have the money for this stuff.
Mm-mm.
HBCUs are severely underfunded. This has been a problem. So you can't say, oh, man, Deion could have did what he wanted. This is a publicly funded institution. It's a state college, and they don't have the endowment that Ole Miss has.
Mm-hmm.
They also don't have the donors. They don't have the alumni, and they don't have the boosters and the corporate contracts and sponsors that an Ole Miss would have, or even a Mississippi State. This is as small as you can get. There are community colleges in most states that probably bring in as much money as Jackson State does. But Deion went there, went into his own pocket, leveraged the relationship with American Airlines to get the team flights, leveraged a relationship with Walmart to get these kids gear and stuff. Asked Michael Strahan to help buy gear for these kids, and even brought an Under Armour deal to the school so they could make uniforms, and they got new helmets every other week.
And he took money out of his own pocket to finish building the facilities.
Yes, he built out the facilities. Not only that, he fed the players, because you want these guys that you need your players well nutrition. Jackson State didn't have that. They didn't have nutrition. Dudes were eating at McDonald's.
I heard before Deion got there in their weight room, they had 2 weight benches.
They had 2 weight benches. Now they have a state of the art weight room. Before, it was worse than our high school weight room. You know what I mean? This is what you see at these lower levels and at a lot of these HBCUs. Not every HBCU, but when you're in the poorest state, in the poorest state capital, in the poorest area of the country, this is what you're going to get, especially with the limited amount of funding. This is my problem with how people are looking at this. Now, what people wanted was this utopian ideal that Deion was going to stay there for 10, 12 years, build Jackson State up into a national powerhouse, and start whooping on Alabama every year. Explain to people why this can't happen.
It just can't. It just can't. Look, Deion said himself. There was a reporter that asked him, is he ready to go against Alabama? And he said flat out, no, I'm not gonna get my kids hurt by selling them out, taking a check, because those mid majors, they get 500,000, 300,000 to go up there.
But with Deion, they would get more.
Yeah. But he's like, I'm not selling my kids out for that. Yeah, skill position wise, we match up with them. Offensive line, defensive line, in the trenches, we don't match up with them Alabamas of the world. And like, it's just not possible.
It's a safety risk.
Yeah, it's just not.
When the team is losing 72-7, somebody on that field's getting hurt. Guys are getting carted off.
Yes.
And like, this is not for the casual sports fan to comment on unless you understand how colleges work. And then I'm also, I got a couple layers I want to go into this. But the fact is, all right, for them to be accepted to a major conference and to actually be able to handle what comes with that, you're going to need all new facilities. What Deion did for them was put them in the top level of HBCU of the SWAC. Not even the MEAC, of the SWAC. They're not even on MEAC level.
No.
To get to the MEAC, to even get into that high D1, and you want to join a real conference, maybe not even if you want to jump up to Conference USA.
Yeah, they're not even there.
They're not even there.
No.
So let's think of the things they'll need. Even larger facilities, $50 million. Let's just throw a flat price on it.
Yeah.
Oh, you want a new stadium? You want a stadium like Alabama and them? $400 million. Has anyone seen the price of stadiums lately? Does Mississippi have that money? Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to benefit from the stadium? And then also, this has a prevailing effect on the HBCU when they go all in and start spending all their money on sports. I'm a person that went to an HBCU. I went to Delaware State University. It was affordable for the semester I went there. I didn't go back because they built a dorm and had to double the tuition to just offset the cost of the dorm they just built. This is 2004, and they built, I can't remember the name of the dorm right now, but it's still there. It's a huge facility. It had its own cafeteria and everything. It was something never seen before. But when I went to Del State, when I first got down there, it was like a farm. It was like a truck stop in the middle of everything. Dover, Delaware is a truck stop. But this is the experience at most HBCUs.
Right.
Unless you're talking about Howard or Hampton or some of the larger ones. Clark Atlanta is the same way. I know it's great. It's got a great tradition. I got accepted there. Didn't go. My brother went there, graduated from there, all that. Yo, I used to live right up the street from there. It's not the most beautiful thing. I ended up graduating from a real D1 school with real facilities, real stadiums, state-of-the-art everything for everybody. These schools don't have the funding to even get there. It would take probably Deion and a host of other Hall of Famers and probably Jeff Bezos 20 years
to save them.
People, there's levels to this conversation. There's so many financial, economic, and political and legal barriers that he would have to jump through to make this Wakanda of college football.
Yeah, people like they don't want to. They don't. A lot of people that say he a sellout, they don't want to break down them layers. They just see the icing on the cake and say, "Oh, you said you were gonna do this and you left."
Yeah,
like come on.
And he did what he did. There's a $120 million contract that ESPN has with all the SWAC schools now to televise their games. But you had to be looking for HBCU games in order to understand that they're now being televised.
Yes.
Before, you had to go deep into your ESPN app and find that game. Now that game is popping up in my feed because they know people want to see it. That's because of Deion Sanders, not because anybody else. And it's going to be like that for the next 10 years because that's a 10-year deal ESPN signed. So he brought money in.
He even had HBCUs even had their own NFL combine.
Yes.
That teams came to scout
because they weren't getting invited to the regular combine.
Yes. So he made that possible. People just think he did all this just for Jackson State. No, everything he's doing it for the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Do you think? Question: People are in such an uproar that he left HBCU and went to Colorado.
Yeah.
Do you think? Me personally, I don't think so. If he would have left Rutgers and went to Colorado, nobody would be mad.
No,
nobody would be mad. They're mad because all the blacks around the world are mad. Half of them are mad because he left an HBCU school. They just, I don't know.
Listen, like you said, and this is what I've been saying to everybody. They want you to make $12 an hour forever.
Forever.
The man is making less than a D-backs coach at a Rutgers.
Yes.
And because he said, pay the people I asked to come here and help me. Because he's a head coach. What a head coach is the overseer, the man held responsible for everything happening at every level in the program. So he needs help. And he brought in some high-profile, well-trained, well-experienced coaches to come and help him. And he even left one of them as his successor. Yes. And here's my thing. They're like, oh, you're taking all your players with you. All these decommits. Decommits happen every day.
Every day.
Yo, when a coach gets fired, somebody might have committed for Urban Meyer, and then he went to the NFL. Somebody might have committed for Les Miles before he lost his last job. It happens. When you don't think when Nick Saban went to the Miami Dolphins, a lot of people decommitted, like, oh, well, I was coming there for you. Now I'm leaving. That's part of the process. It's just business as usual. But when people want to bring up the decommits in this case, they're drawing straws. They're finding something to try to add on to their argument when they don't understand the dynamics of college sports.
Jackson State didn't have money. Deion was even bringing coaches in, and they were working for free.
Yes.
He brought in Mike Zimmer.
Yes.
And Mike Zimmer was just doing it for free.
Mike Zimmer is a playoff winning head coach.
Yes.
He was on damn near Super Bowl teams as defensive coordinator and defensive coaches.
Yes.
Mike Zimmer's as good as it gets for available head coaches right now.
I believe Zimmer is gonna go to Colorado with Deion, but he was working for free down at Jackson State.
That's called leveraging your relationships and your name and who you are. But here's another kicker, too. He didn't just do it for football. Mo Williams is now coaching basketball at Jackson State. This is a guy who's actually giving back to the community. And I ask all the people out there, how have you poured into an HBCU to come at Deion? What have you brought to your HBCUs and brought awareness to? If anything, for 3 years, he brought financial windfall and awareness to the problems that are ailing HBCUs. So here's my solution to everybody. Stop being mad and put the pressure on the next Deion Sanders. There's a bunch of Hall of Famers out there that probably didn't know that it was possible for them to give back in that way. They may want to coach. They just don't like the politics of high Division I. Well, go to an HBCU and help out. Former NBA players, Greg Oden, go to an HBCU. You're an assistant coach. Yeah.
At Butler, right?
At Butler, yes. Why don't you go slide down and go help Savannah State?
Eddie George is at Tennessee State.
Eddie George is at Tennessee State. This is my thing. And then call up your rich friends and say, hey, my kids need sneakers. My kids need uniforms. But on top of that, Dave, instead of asking people to make choices about what they want to do with their life after sports, how about this? You parents, you kids out there, if y'all feel a way about Deion, then go to an HBCU. If your son's a football prospect and you care that deeply, send him to Jackson State. All it takes is a class of kids to get together on social media and say, let's all go there and dominate.
Yep.
And do it. I've been saying this should happen with college basketball forever.
Yeah.
You're only staying in school for 4 months.
Yeah.
And the facilities are good enough for a basketball player to just play basketball. All you need is 2 hoops and a wood floor.
Mm-hmm.
You could play in any size gym. If you're a hooper, you're gonna hoop.
That's all it takes. If a couple of you 5-star recruits want to go to these All-American games and you get together, and if y'all say, come on, let's just go to Howard. Let's go to
Del State.
Let's go to Del State.
Del State has the facilities.
Let's go to Coppin State. Like, if 5 of y'all go there, y'all could turn it around.
And here's the ill thing, right? If 5 of them go there, they can market themselves as the new Fab Five and make money off of it.
Absolutely.
For 5 months, y'all can make $5 million.
Absolutely.
Nike will slap bumper stickers all over your behind like a NASCAR.
Absolutely.
Yo, you'll have Nike, you'll have Powerade, you'll have all of the woke media will be behind you if y'all do this. The corporate money will be there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm saying. Yo, black people still have a choice. You don't need a Deion Sanders to want to go back to an HBCU.
Mm-mm.
I didn't have a Deion Sanders when I decided to go to HBCU.
Right.
I went there because my mans was going there and it was cool.
And you said, whatever, come on.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's
We're
do
gonna
it.
slide down there.
Let's do it.
But that's what I'm saying, especially in basketball. To me, in the basketball, yo, you still have a shot at the tournament from an HBCU.
Yeah.
You just got to win your conference and get into the back end of the tournament.
Yeah.
If the top 5 recruits at every position, so the best point guard, 2 guard, small forward, power forward, and center, if they went to Delaware State, ran through the MEAC undefeated, barnstormed it, and then went as a 14 seed, they could knock off a Duke or a Kansas,
absolutely,
or a Gonzaga.
Absolutely.
They'll do them dirty.
Absolutely.
And then if every class does that every year, then they have to start leveling the playing field.
Absolutely.
Then you bring money back to your HBCUs. Then you get these kids paid before they go to the NBA instead of going to get exploited by Overtime Elite and these other sub leagues.
Yeah.
Because these kids ain't that good.
No.
And that's another topic for another day.
Yeah.
But you still have a choice. You don't have to wait for Deion Sanders to show you the way.
No.
But that man did his job. He's going to Colorado. Like you said, the Pac-12 is a dying conference.
Yes. Because
Deion's going there, they're going to rise up. They're going to dominate. And somebody's going to come. They're going to bring a couple teams up or back to the Pac-12.
Yeah.
And not to mention, right, it's not only the HBCUs that he did a lot for. It's for black head coaches in Division I football. People don't really understand what's been happening to black coaches. Out of 129 Division I football programs at D1 and FBS, there's only 4 black head coaches. One of them's getting fired, and there's no black replacements coming for any of them if they get canned tomorrow.
Right.
People want my man at Ohio State already, and bro just made the playoffs
for losing to Michigan twice.
Yeah, for losing to Michigan. Goddamn.
But that's the thing. Like when you Ohio State, when you're the coach of Ohio State, it doesn't matter if you're undefeated.
Right.
All that matters is you beat Michigan.
Yo, shout out to my man Chris tuning in on YouTube.
Like that's all that matters. You have to beat Michigan.
Make sure y'all comment, man. Throw your comments, questions out there. We here. But yeah, that's my thing. It's like Deion couldn't get a D1 offer. This is why he even went to Jackson State. The man wants to be a successful college head coach, then climb up and be a Super Bowl winning head coach in NFL. He's been on TV talking about football after dominating the game. All world football knowledge, IQ. Deion could probably, if he didn't lose his toes, he was still running a 4.5 40 at age 55 or something like that. This man is the modern day Jim Thorpe. He was great at everything he ever did. Yes. He only didn't play basketball because he didn't have time.
Yeah, he's the second best defensive player that I ever saw.
Yeah, he has to be. So, especially of the last 40, 50 years.
Yeah,
it's him and Lawrence Taylor.
That's it.
That's it.
That's where the list stops for me.
Yeah, that's it. As far as like being so far ahead at your position on defense, you know what I mean? He's probably the greatest corner ever.
Yeah,
you can put that up there.
Yeah,
I mean, we can have the Charles Woodson.
You can have
he's in the conversation, but we know Deion was better. But you can also have Rob Woodson in there too.
Yeah,
we can talk about that.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. If he goes here and he does what I think he's going to do at Colorado, now you open the door for them to give a lot of black coaches the opportunities that these white coaches get without having to do half the work. He doesn't want to be Pep Hamilton and be a coordinator for 94 years before he even gets a head coaching interview.
And let's like not jump the gun. Like we're not expecting Deion to turn it around next year.
No, no.
I'm expecting him to struggle a little bit, but give him. Let's see where he at 2-3 years into that deal.
Yes,
and I'm pretty sure he's going to have a lot of black assistants on his staff. And then who knows? You have a good offensive year. Someone might offer your offensive coordinator a head coaching job.
Yeah.
You have a good defensive year, your defensive coordinator, and so on and so on. So let's just wait, and then let's not jump the gun when he loses a game. They went undefeated at Jackson State. He should have just stayed there. Come on.
Oh, but you know what the internet's gonna do? They're gonna just hate and say something, and they don't realize, like, yo, Division I football is hard, but Colorado has the facilities.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is another thing too. He's gonna get a lot of kids who might fall by the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Hunter probably doesn't play. I had this debate with my man, and he knows a lot about college football. He played college football for an HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. But I said, yo, Travis Hunter probably doesn't play. I don't think he plays if he goes to Alabama the first year. Probably gets redshirted and doesn't get to show his talents, puts him a year back. He doesn't get to go to the NFL for another 3 years. It just sets his whole life back, a year. You know, he gets to go out here and showcase his skills. But if you're that kid, why go sit? If you're that nice and you know you are and you're being underrated, go play for Deion. He's got a spot for you. If you're the JUCO kid who has some issues, go play for Deion.
Yeah, that's funny you brought that about Alabama, because I just read something today, and 2 years ago or last year, Alabama had the #1 recruiting class. 21 of those guys are in transfer portal.
Yes,
right now.
The transfer portal
because
is
they can't
alive and
because
kicking.
they can't play.
Yeah,
you got this 5-star running back that just DM'd Deion and said, "Hey, do you got room for me?" He's a 5-star running back. He can't play because there's 2 5-star running backs ahead of him.
Not everybody wants to be sitting behind Trent Richardson or sitting behind Derrick Henry or sitting behind the next guy. You know what I mean? Like, yo, that picture of all those Alabama running backs. Imagine the records they could have broken D1 if one of them go to Wisconsin or one of them go to Oregon or one of them go to Arizona State and help out Herm Edwards.
Look at Trayvon Diggs. Yeah. He only became a corner because he went to Alabama as a receiver.
Yeah, right.
You're there with Jerry Jeudy. You're there with Calvin Ridley. You're there. You got to change.
Yeah.
In order for you to play, you got to switch positions.
Right.
And he had to become a corner.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like people, this conversation is so complex to understand. But like I said, I remember what happened to Ty Willingham. And then even in NCAA basketball, I saw what happened to Nolan Richardson. I know what they do to coaches. Black coaches get dismissed in a manner with no dignity. But none of them are Deion Sanders. You cannot question Deion Sanders' football acumen. You can only question the results, and the man has not failed at anything.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like if Michael Jordan or, you know, God bless the dead, Kobe Bryant was to go to coach in the NCAA. You can fire him if he absolutely sucks at it, but you got to give him an opportunity and a fair shake.
Yeah.
Because you'll never live that down if you just treat him like you treated every other black coach before him.
Absolutely.
And this is what Deion's trying to break the mold. And then you know what? It's going to be a lot of black players, like you said, who wouldn't get the opportunities. Some JUCO transfer kids, they're going to go to Colorado and they're going to get the opportunity. And they're getting top-level NFL coaching. Because he says it, something that a lot of these coaches don't say. I'm preparing these kids for the next level.
Yes.
I'm preparing them for the NFL, not the NIL. The NIL will come if you hustle. If you got some hustle about you, get a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Like Destroy or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get it. You can get it. The money's there. They don't have to pay you under the table no more.
No.
But if I'm a 5-star recruit, and let's say I'm a receiver and I know you already got your quarterback, I'm going to Colorado.
Yeah.
Why am I going to go sit down at Georgia or Alabama? Let me go there. If I'm a corner, why wouldn't I want to go play for Deion Sanders? I don't want Nick Saban trying to teach me how to play corner.
Man, I would just, I just said this at work. I'm like, the Travis Hunter. Like, if I'm a corner in high school and Deion Sanders is sitting in my living room, any other school that's offering me, they're done.
Yes,
because can't no other, like you said, Nick Saban can't tell me how to play corner better than Deion.
Nope.
He done did it. He done been there, done it at the highest of highest levels.
Right.
It's a no-brainer.
And I'm curious to see things like with Deion, now that you're getting a higher level of talent, you're going to have real offensive linemen.
Yeah.
You're going to have real D linemen. I'm going to want to see how exotic his scheme is.
Yeah.
Like what Deion's system really is.
Yeah.
Because right now, he just had the players and they open it up at Jackson State. They don't mess around. Shedeur is out there playing. Quick question. How good do you think Shedeur Sanders is?
I think he's good. I think he's now. Granted, it was against lower competition.
Right.
They didn't schedule. You know how like all them other HBCUs, they'll have a throwaway game where they're going to play Iowa or something.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. But it's gonna be interesting to see him against some top talent.
But we know why. They couldn't protect him.
They couldn't protect him.
Yeah. Like there's 330-pound kids all across the board at Iowa or something like that. At Jackson State, there's probably one or two guys over 300. Yeah. Everybody's getting ear holed and blown off the ball as soon as the snap. And that's nothing against them. That's just a different level of athlete and a different level of recruitment that they've been able to enjoy.
I don't expect him to go out there and have 36 touchdowns like he just did this year.
Yeah.
That's right now because we don't know what their team look like.
Yeah, right.
But if he could go get, some of them big offensive linemen that's going to protect. And let's see, like you said, let's see his scheme and the playbook open up. Then I think Shedeur will do good.
Hey, listen, Colorado's quarterback that just won one game, 111. He jumped in that portal immediately.
Both of them.
Yeah. They was like, yo, we out.
But it's crazy because you're a starter quarterback and you only had 1,200 yards passing.
That 1,200 yards passing is a disgrace in 12 games. You threw for 100 yards every game. I'd rather throw 24 picks than only throw for 100 yards. I'm gonna go down swinging. Peyton Manning, rookie year, 28 picks.
Yes.
I'm not doing that. No, you know what I mean? There's a way. I'm going out like a man. We're going out like men today, fellas. I'm throwing this thing.
Yeah.
Get open.
Oh, we're down 50-0. Oh, bombs away.
Yo, I'm letting it go. I'm changing every play at the line. It's going down. Coach gonna have to bench me. They're gonna have to transfer me after this game. And then and it's dope because now players can play right away in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna love about this. And it's more anarchy and chaos. And this will help when they expand this college football playoff system to 8 teams. I think it's going to go 8.
It's 12 now.
So the 12 is finalized. Yeah. I thought there was 8, and then we're going to go to 12.
Now it's 12.
Oh, okay. See, there we go.
It's 12.
Now you'll get to see Deion versus Alabama, and you'll see why people can see why Jackson State wasn't going to be able to do that in your lifetime.
Yeah,
like it wasn't going to happen. But yeah, man. So just lay off the brother. We can't be the manager at McDonald's forever. Sometimes we got to graduate to managing TGI Fridays.
Yeah, they wanted Deion to keep bumping his head on the ceiling.
Yeah, man.
This is not breaking. Not breaking.
Come on. I'm tired of being a cashier. Switch me to stock.
Oh, yeah.
You know I mean, then I want to be an assistant manager. How about that?
Right.
So that's one thing, man. But that's the first topic. One thing I want to talk about, I want to get into some NFL news. I wish I had sound effects. We're going to learn how to get those. But I need that Civil War, like, morning horn. Because Von Miller's out for the season, man. I don't think I've received worse news as a Buffalo Bills fan than this. This is bad.
Yes.
This is bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Von Miller was the only thing. We signed him just so we would be better than last year.
Yes.
Now, he's gone, and we're back to last year again. Sad times, man. How do you think this injury affects the Bills?
Big time. Like now, you don't have the quote unquote closer on defense now. Like Von Miller was that guy to where if Buffalo was up 3 or 4 or 7, that when you tried out your defense, sooner or later Von Miller's going to get that quarterback, and it's going to be on the 3rd down or 4th down.
Yes, sir.
You don't have that now. Not from the outside.
Yes, sir.
You don't have that.
And a lot of people, I love that they have next-gen stats now so people can understand the game. Von Miller doesn't have 94 sacks. Like, he's not Lawrence Taylor. But you know what? He's creating pressure every single time the quarterback drops pass. They scheme their offense so Von Miller doesn't become a factor in the first half, and they can try to get some points on the board before they're forced to pass because Buffalo's offense has run away with the game. And now the DNs are pinning their ears back, just going. People don't understand. Von Miller is caving in one side of your defensive line. One-on-one, there's not a lot of tackles that can even manage to hang with him. In the Chiefs game, the team we need to beat, we went into Kansas City. Late in the 4th, Von Miller got the sack that sealed the game for us. That's how important he is. Now, the only saving grace is that without Von Miller this past week, Greg Rousseau, big timer from Miami, big boy, 6'7", 6'8", 270, turning the corner, big, powerful, fast guy. He turned it up last week.
He
turned it all the way up.
This is his time to do it.
Yeah.
Well, y'all got him in the first round.
Yeah,
right?
it was our first round pick. Yeah.
He has to sit back and go, all right, Von's not here. I have to put my big boy pants on.
I have to win.
Yes.
I have to win my matchup. Like we got Shaq Lawson, we got AJ Epinesa, a bunch of middle tier guys that are power rushers.
He needs to tap into that. I'm not saying he's LT or Aaron Donald or Von Miller, but he needs to tap into that to where he needs to look at that tackles that's in front of him and say, I don't see you.
Yeah.
I don't see you. I'm gonna do my swim move or bull rush you, and I'm getting to the quarterback.
All I'm seeing is the quarterback.
All I'm seeing is the quarterback.
That's it. I'm looking past you
because that's what Von Miller does late in the game. I'm pretty sure he's not paying attention to that tackle.
It helps that Trey White is back playing full time.
Yeah,
this is one of the best corners in football, top 4 corners in football.
Absolutely,
and he's been out all season
when healthy. Yes.
Yeah. The Bills we stabilized on defense. We're finally getting healthy on both sides of the ball. It just sucks that we lose our big free agent acquisition.
Yeah.
The guy we spent $120 million on 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That hurts, man. But like you said, it's crunch time, man. Let's put your big boy pants on.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Now with this Von Miller news, and then what you saw between Cincinnati and Kansas City this past week. Who's your favorite in the AFC to win that conference?
I don't want to change my pick. I picked Buffalo to get to the Super Bowl, and that was on the backs of the AFC Championship game being in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
I've said this to you. I've said this to a couple people. The only reason why the Chiefs beat you guys in the AFC Championship game the past couple years was because the game was in Kansas City.
I agree.
I always believe that if the game is in Buffalo, Buffalo wins.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to ride it out with Buffalo because the Chiefs aren't unbeatable.
No, and they got to run through their division again, so they're going to fall. So, we have the head-to-head tiebreaker too, but I think now with the Raiders playing the way they are, the Raiders and Chargers have given up 2 extremely close games to them. Mm-hmm. They find ways to lose against Kansas City, but they keep losing to Kansas City in Kansas City. Mm-hmm. Kansas City has to now go to Vegas, and they got to go to LA to close out this year. Mm-hmm. But I don't count on the Broncos for anything. They're a football travesty. They're an abomination. They set the game back 30 years.
Yeah, that Broncos defense is top tier.
Yo, they lead the league in scoring, but the offense is last.
Dead last.
I've never seen anything like that. Russell Wilson, but I've talked about this 2 years ago on this podcast. There's slippage there. There is slippage there.
You definitely brought it up a couple years ago.
Yeah, I definitely did. But that's the thing, man. It's like I'm looking at it. If Buffalo can hold on to the number 1 seed, I like our chances.
Yeah,
that's been one of our big advantages in the playoffs since we've gotten good.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, real quick. They said the volume was down, so I'm gonna pump it up a little bit. Yo, thanks for the lookout, Reggie. And he just texted me and said, "Yo, we got to turn up the volume." But Reg says this. He says the juice Von Miller brings is what he's hoping Ndamukong Suh brings for the Eagles. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Are they the best team in the NFL right now?
They're playing like it.
I said this, right? And I'm going to give Jalen Hurts his props. He's playing far above what I think his level is.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen this movie before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happens when they face real exotic, healthy, top-tier defenses. Mm-hmm. They got 2 coming up. Teams that can really throw different looks at you, dynamic. But I have to say the Eagles are the best team in the NFL because they're the most consistent. In a year where the Chiefs dropped a suspicious game, the Bills have dropped some games to teams they should have beat, the Eagles have not lost to anybody they should have beat.
Okay.
Even though their schedule is not as strong as a Buffalo or Kansas City or even a Cincinnati or San Francisco, they've taken care of business. And I don't want to penalize them for beating who's on the schedule.
Yeah.
I've been a Bills fan. I've been subjected to that because it's not the popular choice or whatever. But I got to say they're the best team in the NFL right now. They're playing the best football.
Yeah, my only issue with the Eagles is they don't put a whole game together.
No, not at all.
They always slack off in the second half.
Yeah.
They punish you in the first half. In the second half, they look like they take their foot off the gas and they allow teams to get back in it. So that's my only issue with the Eagles. But other than that, like they got all the weapons. As far as like what Reggie was saying, as far as Ndamukong Suh bringing the juice? I don't think so.
I think they're marginal talents.
Yeah.
Him and the other guy. Who else they bring?
Linval Joseph. They were free agents for a reason.
Exactly, and they're old. They're long in the tooth.
Yeah.
They're fresh bodies, so they look decent now.
Yeah.
But a couple weeks of people running right into them and running up the middle, that's going to be a problem.
Playing like if you got them in the game, playing against a team that has a good interior offensive line, you can like Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph, they can be had.
Yes.
So like playing against Dallas, Zach Martin, he's gonna neutralize whoever's in front of him.
Yeah, and Dallas just got an old lineman back. He's back practicing.
Yeah, Tyron Smith.
Yeah, Tyron Smith. Yeah, that's big time. And I don't think people understand how dangerous Dallas is right now.
Yeah,
because Dak is rolling. This might be the second best football I've seen Dak play, other than the year they went to the playoffs and lost to the Packers when they had to bye. Then they lost to Green Bay.
They against the Colts this past week. They offense was bad.
I'm not gonna say it was bad because the Colts are a formidable defense. They just stink on offense. They don't have top talent.
No, but no, that's what I'm saying. Like Dallas's offense, they weren't really they weren't clicking. Maybe because the Colts defense was there, but when I went to bed, it was 21-19.
Yeah,
and I'm like, all right, this is. But Dallas's defense won that game.
Yes, and Micah Parsons is the real deal.
Yeah.
I'm here to say it. That might be the game. I mean, I'm looking forward to but non-Bills game, Dallas and Philly is the game I'm looking forward to.
Yeah,
if they can come out there and thoroughly dominate Dallas in Dallas, listen, I'm gonna give the Eagles the because right now it's looking like the NFC runs through them, and Dallas is the last team with the healthy QB and that has their offensive line and their defense together left in the NFC to stand in their way. Aside from Minnesota, and I think Minnesota's a totally different team than who Dallas played. The addition of T.J. Hawkinson, than Philly played. The addition of T.J. Hawkinson is major. And I think the Eagles, it's Minnesota, but Dallas more than Minnesota for Philly. I think.
What about San Francisco? Are you counting them out because of the quarterback situation?
I like that quarterback, Brock Purdy.
I like Brock.
He's tough.
Yeah.
But if they catch a Tom Brady and it's up to a duel, because the one thing is about the top quarterbacks and top coaching staffs, they're going to unlock you no matter who you are.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to figure out how to get their guy going. Mm-hmm. And they're going to hit you with something they hadn't shown anybody all season. And it's going to come down between your quarterback versus that quarterback. That's where I think San Francisco is going to end up losing. Might they get to the NFC Championship? Possibly. But this is where I worry about Jalen Hurts. But I think the Eagles have more to offset that. It'll take a lot more from the other team's defense to force Jalen Hurts into having to beat coverages. Because right now he doesn't beat coverages. I'm just seeing the receivers win against terrible corners.
Yeah.
The Tennessee has no secondary. And they didn't establish their run early, so they were out of the game.
And that's where I think because the Eagles and Giants play this Sunday.
Yeah.
And then that's where I think it's going to get ugly for us because we got a bunch of practice squad players in our secondary.
But there's a level of coaching that the Giants have this year. They've been prepared for every single game. Y'all haven't been
except for Detroit.
Yeah. But that was what how many injuries?
Yeah.
94,000 injuries.
Everybody.
The Giants are a little more healthy than they were. And also, you guys just got that tie. The game is less critical because there's a tie on your record. So it's going to help you get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So as far as the teams that you're going to, you would have the most trouble with trying to win, the tie helps a lot.
Yeah.
So this might be a game, honestly, you could drop. Looking ahead, you say, hey, are the Eagles really worth it? Do we rest a couple guys and get ready to take 3 out of our last 4 and get into these playoffs on a roll? Because this season is already an overwhelming success for the Giants.
Oh, yeah.
And then another draft year, now the NFC is a dogfight from beginning to end.
And the
NFC East.
And I'm getting Cowboy fans, I'm getting Eagle fans. Like everybody is like, oh, y'all lost. And I'm like, look, if you know me and for those who saw this podcast, what I said when the schedule came out, the Giants going to win 7 games.
Yes, you said that.
We're at 7 now.
Yes.
Anything after this is found money.
And
then I also said, I'm not really looking for us to get to the playoffs this year because I figured 7 and 10 we were going to be out of the playoffs anyway. I was saying we would make the playoff next year.
Yeah.
So we're above and beyond of what I expected we were going to do this year.
This is going to be a great finish finish to the season because the Eagles have to see the Giants and the Cowboys coming down the stretch.
Yeah, we got them twice.
And then in the playoffs, I'll say this: there's no more bad teams left. How have you been tested during the season, and how did you respond to these tests? That's going to let me know. It's going to help me project what your team is going to be in the playoffs. And if you saw Tom Brady Monday night, because I cut that game off. I ain't gonna sit here and lie like I watched the whole thing.
Me too. I
was like, oh, this is trash.
Yeah,
Call of Duty. I went right on Call of Duty. Then I cut the game off after a couple of hours of making my eyes bleed from playing Call of Duty. Then I'm like, damn, Tom Brady came back in 3 minutes and won the game. Like, I don't care who you're playing. That's GOAT level, and Brady shows up.
Yes.
He sent y'all home last year.
Yes.
He sent y'all home last year, Philly fans. I'm just here to say there's no bad teams left. There's no bad teams left. Hope you draw Seattle in the first round for your sake. Hope you draw, I don't know, Washington Commanders for the first sake. You might draw them in the second round if they get lucky and make it out. But most likely in the second round, Dallas is coming to you, or even New York, or what you call it? Who did I just say? Minnesota,
San Francisco,
San Fran. Somebody's coming to you that can really play football, and it's up to Jalen Hurts to win that with his arm. There's certain throws I still need to see him make. There's certain plays I still need to see him make.
Yeah.
So that's it for that. You know what I mean? My Super Bowl prediction was Bills and was it Bills and Rams?
Mine was Bills and Rams.
Mine was Bills and Rams, and the Rams are far out of it.
And they just signed Baker Mayfield.
Real quick. Yeah, I did see them sign Baker Mayfield. That's very interesting, by the way. Because he might end up playing this Sunday. They said
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. I mean,
tomorrow.
Yeah, he might end up playing tomorrow. Real quick, OBJ, where do you think he goes? Because I don't like the fact that the man is saying I'm not working out for nobody. Who do you think you are? The only person that doesn't have to work out for me is Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, you're signed, buddy. Don't even worry about it.
I don't know.
Somebody's cut.
It's up in the air now with the reports that was coming out of Dallas, where someone leaked the medical reports, and Jerry Jones was saying that he's not confident in signing him.
I don't think Dallas needs him. I think he's a luxury item in Dallas.
Yeah.
Because I think CeeDee Lamb is the number one receiver, but that's another conversation for another day.
I don't think Dallas needs him.
No, they need to run the ball with Tony Pollard.
Does Buffalo need him?
He would help out because last year we had 3 guys that were number 2 or higher that could play the outside and inside. It was Emmanuel Sanders. We don't have that anymore.
No.
Our slot receivers are like midgets right now, but we just signed John Brown, who was our number 1 receiver
the year
before Diggs got there. So I think they said we're getting out of the Odell Beckham sweepstakes unless he comes down on his price.
So that leaves the Giants.
Yeah, because we restructured Tre'Davious White's deal this year to create $2.5 million of cap space. So
that leaves the Giants.
Yeah, we're not getting stuck up by him.
It doesn't matter if it's OBJ or not. I just need a receiver that can use his hands.
Yeah.
Slayton is still iffy in my eyes because this is 2 years in a row against Washington. He drops a pass that we could win the game.
Yeah.
What's the kid we got from Buffalo? Hodges?
Yeah.
I'm starting to like him.
Isaiah Hodges, man.
I'm starting to like him.
That hurt us, putting him on the practice squad and signing a couple guys that haven't even touched the field yet. Curious roster moves by Buffalo, but whatever. We're 9-3. I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm starting to. He's starting to grow on me.
Yeah.
Every game, I'm starting to see him. He's getting separation. So I'm guessing it's coming with like more reps.
Yeah.
So he's starting to get more comfortable, and he knows the system.
He's a young guy.
So I like him. But OBJ could come in and he could take pressure off of Hodges. He could take pressure off of Slayton.
Yeah, and people are gonna love that he comes back to New York.
Yeah,
you're a Super Bowl champion wide receiver. I just hope his knee holds up.
Yeah,
and he's one of the guys saying that this turf is taking ACLs. And in the last 2 weeks, we've seen about 4 major players go down with knee injuries.
But you know what's crazy with OBJ? He's saying he said we need to get rid of it when Sterling Shepard tore his ACL.
Yeah.
But then OBJ, you tore your ACL twice. once in the Super Bowl on turf.
Yep.
And then once in Cleveland on grass.
On grass, yeah.
So it really doesn't matter what surface you're playing on. If it goes, it's go. It's gonna go.
Totally sidebar. We're not gonna stick on this, but I just think that football should be played on grass.
Yeah.
That's it. Just play it on grass. Everybody can put grass everywhere. I have grass outside of my place, a little bit of it, and there's grass everywhere.
But these teams are worried about because they do other stuff, the circus and this and that.
Yeah, and the concert,
and they don't want
the Beyonce concert, Kevin Hart's tour,
and they know grass will get destroyed.
Yes,
so they want to put this, but like I'm with you. Like football is meant to be played on grass, natural grass,
in every weather, in every climate, on grass.
Yes,
you know what I mean. But yeah. So let's move on to some NBA right quick. You know what I mean? We're moving along. Right now, who's your MVP in the NBA?
That's tough.
I'm gonna give you mine right now.
That's tough.
And
go ahead.
I am not a huge fan of his, but Luka Doncic is probably my MVP.
Yeah, I was leaning towards him, but I just wanted to put other guys in there but
the only other one who I say if I had an official vote, I'd have to give it to him because they're the best team is Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Because Dallas doesn't quite have the record, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not to give it to the best player on the best team guy, but without Luka, they absolutely
terrible. They're terrible.
San Antonio Spurs lost 11 straight games. They're tanking.
Yeah. They take it for Victor Wembanyama, whatever.
Exactly.
He's in Victor. He's a Spur kind of guy.
He is.
Overseas,
a finesse 7-footer. Just what the Spurs been looking for.
He's a Spurs kind of guy.
Just what Pop ordered.
Yeah.
So,
but Luka is I can see that.
Last night, Luka was putting on a show,
and
I thought he only did it in Dallas, but this is also Sunday. Was it Saturday? He helped me win some money. He walked in the garden and put it on the Knicks. I'm talking about embarrass the Knicks.
It's not hard to do.
The Knicks are a dumpster fire. They're hard to watch. It's just tough basketball to watch.
Ooh.
But I'm like, between Steph Curry, Luka, and Jason Tatum, I don't know I'm seeing many great individual top performers this year. Those might be the three. Ja is up there, but
Donovan Mitchell's up there.
Donovan Mitchell is, right? But I feel like his points are empty calories.
Okay. Explain.
I just feel like
they needed all them points last night.
They did against the Lakers, yeah. But I feel like when he scores 35, it's not as impactful as when Luka scores 35.
Yeah.
Like Luka scoring 35 is either keeping them in a game that they have no business being in, or flat out blowing the doors off of somebody like New York.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I feel like Donovan Mitchell, and for me being a sports bettor, he hits his parlay every night. Like he'll score the 25 or 30 points
that you need him to get.
But Cleveland's not. I'm just not impressed by them yet. I feel like they're one of those teams early on in the season, they're going to show great returns, but I want to see them in the guts of the season once the veteran teams start to pick up and play a little bit harder and they get out.
So do you have this feeling that this Cavs team with Donovan Mitchell in the regular season is like the Utah team that he was on? He's going to put up numbers in the regular season. They're going to win some games, probably get a high seed in the playoff come flame out.
Yes, and I stick to my theory. A little man can't be your best player if you have a chance at a championship because he can't give it back defensively. When they play Boston, who's he going to guard? And you can't hide him because Boston has a full lineup of guys that if they play Brooklyn, who's he going to guard? Because you're only playing 8 or 9 guys most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Who's he going to guard?
As far as like their Brooklyn's top players?
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to guard the top players. So they'll stick him on Joe Harris or Steph Curry.
I'll put it to you like this. Philly gave him a hell of a game the other night. And they're down. They were down Tyrese Maxey and James Harden.
Mm-hmm.
Who's he going to guard? He couldn't guard Shake Milton.
Mm.
This is what I'm saying. Donovan Mitchell, I hate it for him. But he is Monte Ellis in his prime. He's prime Steve Francis. He's like, yo, we're going to remember him. We're going to say, man, that was a bad boy. Yo, he used to put that ball in that hoop. But your best player has to be a two-way player. It's not going to work. You got to be able to give it back on the defensive end. Jokic, if he could play defense, you didn't have to pull him off the floor in the last 30 seconds when it's time to be strategic. the Nuggets would be a Western Conference contender, but they're not because you can't. And that's my whole thing. Steph Curry is the rare centerpiece, like Isaiah Thomas.
I think you could keep Jokic in the game late in the fourth quarter. It all depends on the matchups. Like if they're playing the Sixers late in the game, then you can't because Joel's gonna kill him.
Yeah.
If you're playing against the Wizards and Porzingis, you can because Porzingis wants to shoot jump shots.
But we're talking about in playoff time. Most of these teams have big men that get busy.
Well, you could play in the playoff series against Memphis. If Steven Adams is still in the game, you could keep Jokic in there.
Yeah, but if you put him in a pick and roll against Ja, he's toast, and that's the problem. You got to pull him off the floor, and that's I think that's something that's highly underrated. It's like,
but
this is why the Suns can't win.
But going back to the high pick and roll, you could leave him in there because when Steven Adams goes to set the screen, Jokic could back up.
We got our first LeBron comment. We'll get to that. All right, Reggie, we'll get to that.
Jokic could back up and give Jamal Murray time to get back to Ja because you don't fear Steven Adams beating you.
Yeah.
So, but I get you.
Yeah. I just think that it's like Trae Young too. I think he's going to need a real big man. The perfect player to play with Trae Young probably would be a Joel Embiid. Because Trae Young, but Tyrese Maxey does a lot of the things Trae Young does, except he doesn't score he's not as prolific a shooter or a scorer, but he's up there. He's a superstar in the making.
Yeah, he's gotten better every year.
Yeah, but also Maxey can stay in front of people defensively. And I think that's something that Donovan Mitchell just can't. His feet just don't work defensively the way a Marcus Smart does to be a difference maker on that end of the floor.
Maxey's not a defender.
Yeah.
But he's quick enough to get, if he's beat a little bit, he can get back.
Yeah. And he can get off the feet, he can get physical. And that's what I said. So, and as a little guy that still plays ball, it really pains me to say this. I hate it. It's like Dame Lillard. I hate it, but it's the truth. Mm-hmm. Like, unless you get a real legit big man, you're not going to be able to do it. Now, if the Lakers would have went and got Dame Lillard, did what they needed to do whatever they needed to do to get him, they'd probably be looking at coming out of the West. Because I just don't believe in the Suns, and it's because DeAndre Ayton. And I'm glad Patrick Beverley shoved him. We missed that week, but it's all good, baby. It's like you're not a real big man. And Giannis took your cookies in the finals, and you've never gotten them back since.
No.
He's still waiting. Like, you're waiting by the locker. Yo, I'm gonna get this guy one day.
I'm gonna get him.
He's that dude on the couch in Belly. Yo, I'm gonna get you, yo. I just can't wait. Yeah, word up, son. Word up, B. Yo, I hate that. Reggie wants us to talk about LeBron, and we were going to talk about it anyway. The Lakers have clawed their way back into respectability. They're 10-12, so they're a couple games under 500. Anthony Davis left the game last night with flu-like symptoms, but barely lost to the Cavs in Cleveland. Now, LeBron is 880 points away from history. How many three-pointers is he going to average per game to try to get this record?
His usual 8 to 9.
8 to 9 threes. Okay, yeah. He's starting to make them, and the team is shooting better. Mm-hmm. What do you attribute the Lakers' recent success to?
That when LeBron was out with that injury, other guys start getting comfortable.
No one wants to talk about how Russell Westbrook became an NBA player again.
Yes.
When LeBron was out.
Yes, off the bench.
Yes. Hey, look. Oh, he can play six man. Mm-hmm. Oh, he can play basketball again. Mm-hmm. Oh, he didn't forget how to play the sport. Mm-hmm. But yeah, when your best player is not out there lumbering and not giving it back on defense, it's amazing what people can do. Mm-hmm. Now you got shooters now.
Anthony Davis, he started to look like the Pelicans. Anthony Davis going out there with 55 points the other night. This is my thing. Like, I'm happy that Russ knows how to play basketball now, and AD is starting to play. But I just wanted people to pump the brakes on it because they were playing while LeBron was out, so it was easier.
All right,
everybody gets to touch the ball.
Yeah,
everybody's involved. When LeBron is in the game, you see the game slows down. There's not a lot of cutting. Everybody just standing around and waiting to see what he's gonna do.
Right,
and then he jacks up a three.
This is true.
But they turned it around. They started to play basketball, but it started when LeBron was out.
But I attribute a lot of this too to AD dropping 30 and 40 balls too.
Yeah,
double doubles, 44 points,
and
a gang of rebounds.
And it is big because when he was dropping 30 and 40, he wasn't shooting not one 3-pointer.
Nope.
Get on the block and play big.
Embiid's been scoring again because he's down on the block.
Stop
big. Hanging out around the 3-point line. This is not the corner store. You're loitering. I think they should fine them for loitering when they start hanging around the perimeter. Stop it. Stop it.
Yep.
Just go to the hole. But listen, I didn't think that the Lakers were never going to turn it around. It was just awful basketball, right? Like they were just not figuring it out. There's enough veteran players on that team to know what basketball looks like. Do I think they have enough to really make noise and come out of the West? No. They're still a couple of moves away. Wait till the buyout market happens. A couple of trades happen. They can't make any major deals now because I don't think Russ's value is going to raise enough to get back what they need to compete. But also don't think you need to get rid of Russ. You need as many good NBA players at this point as you can find on a roster and let Darvin Ham figure out how to make them work.
Yeah, let Darvin Ham coach.
Yeah. LeBron, let him do his job.
Let him do his job.
Something's happening here.
Right.
Let's give it a chance. You know what I mean? Before you start to hijack
I think the Lakers, I think they lost too many games to dig out of that hole that they dug for themselves.
I'm looking at the West now. 10-12, they're right around middle of the road in the entire NBA. They could climb back into the top 6 in the West and avoid the play-in.
I don't think they're going to avoid the play-in.
We'll see. Next week, the teams are able to start trading contracts that they just signed. It's 45 days into the season.
Patrick Beverley, you're on the clock.
Yeah, you are on the clock, sir. Yo, shout out. We got more people. Yo, Reggie keeps trying to correct us. We weren't talking about the Sixers and Nuggets playing in the playoffs, right? With Jokic, we're talking about the type of big man that he can be able to compete with late in the game. This is why he gets pulled off the floor when it's when the game is down to 1 or 2 possessions and teams are calling timeout after every miss or make, trying to get the ball back and get their last second plays in. This is what we're talking about. We know they're not going to play in the playoffs, but they could also meet in the finals, and that would be an issue. But they're most likely not going to meet in the finals because the Nuggets aren't getting that far.
No.
But I just wanted to, for the correction audience out there.
Sixers aren't either.
Yo, listen. Tyrese Maxey has to get healthy, but James Harden came back the other night, and they lost a lot of the movement and the tempo that they had without him. James Harden, when Maxey has to come back, James Harden has to be spot-up shooter and facilitator. That is the way this is going to work. James Harden could be J.J. Redick. He could. Just be able to do it off the dribble. He could do that. But Maxey is going to be your guy that's going to create movement, and he needs to be the pick-and-roll partner with Embiid, not James Harden, unless Maxey's off the floor.
J.J. Redick, as far as like the standstill shooting, because he's not running around off screens.
It's not that he's going to run around off screens, but Maxey causes the defense to collapse. Embiid causes the defense to collapse. We need to be able to kick it to Harden, and Harden's got to be able to put up a viable 3-pointer, which we know he can do. He's one of the best 3-point shooters all time. I think he's like third all time. You know what I'm saying? I'll probably be second by the time his career is done. But he would be first if Steph Curry wasn't an alien.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's my thing. Like, it's just at this point when Maxey comes back, we see how potent he is. We see what Shake Milton is capable of coming off the bench. It's time. It's time for you to change your role and to be a different player. These players are too young and too athletic for you to continue to play the same type of ball, you know, that you've been playing. Right. You know, the Sixers need tempo back. George Niang, you were the only person in the world to say that Niang was a major pickup. And I got to give you credit. Niang is one of my favorite players, and he's one of the best damn shooters in the NBA. My man puts him up, and he makes them. And he ain't got all that athleticism, but he gives you what he has on defense. And I even seen him throw down a couple dunks in traffic. Yeah. So
he's a school bus.
Yes. Yeah, they call him the minivan. George Niang. He's dependable.
Yep.
He's reliable, rolling over those potholes. Let's see. We got more comments here. Yo, shout out to my man B Mac. Shout out to Warren. You know, Drench Radio. What's going on, baby? Yeah, man. We toward the end of the show. Real quick, I'm gonna hit you with some quick notes. Should Tyson Fury have been fighting a 32-11 fighter?
Nah.
That was a disgrace to boxing.
I mean, but then there's not many heavyweights left.
Do you want to see another Wilder Fury?
I mean, that's what it's looking like. That's what it's going towards.
Because Fury doesn't want to fight Usyk. No. He doesn't want to fight him. He was talking trash to him, but he doesn't want to fight him.
He doesn't want to fight
him. Yeah. That's over with.
No.
That's over with. We're looking at the Hawks and the Knicks right now. Hawks are down 12 to the Knicks in the first quarter. Trae Young missed the game because he's beefing with Nate McMillan. Do you see this relationship being repaired?
They'll get rid of Nate before they get rid of Trey.
I think so.
But Trey's out there though.
Yeah, he's out there tonight, but he missed the game
missed
the other
the
night,
game,
and they won without him. Yeah, and then he's complaining that people need to. This is why things never get resolved because this stuff should stay private. How about you just come to the game with your team and nobody's gonna ask a question?
Absolutely.
This is what I'm saying. Talking about all people leaking information. You didn't show up, and you're the highest paid player on the team, sir.
Yeah.
You're a supermax guy.
Yeah, you need to show up.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And yeah, that's pretty much all I had. I want to hit you with a couple quick hitters. I just think it's ridiculous that Tyson Fury was fighting the guy that makes my food when I go downtown to get something to eat.
And it's the third time they fought.
I'm tired of this. I'm just tired of
it's like all of those European heavyweights, they're all tomato cans.
Yeah. Anthony Joshua was a good looking tomato can.
He's a model.
A boxing model.
He's a model.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury, they offer him the fight.
Anthony Joshua is the Dave East of boxing. Yo, you look like you can rap. And you know what? The ladies like you.
You don't like Dave East?
No, not a Dave East fan. This is not a hip hop podcast. I don't want to do this. A lot of rap opinions been getting people in hot water. I don't want any.
Yeah, because I've been seeing y'all heated Willenboro beef battle debates.
Listen, we're trying to get bigger. We're not gonna talk about the haters. All right, there's a lot of hate. Shout out to C Wright. Shout out to Drench Radio. He started all of that.
Shout out to C Wright, man. That's my guy, Dr. C.
Yeah, Dr. C. He's not a doctor. Oh, he does have a degree, but he's still a doctor.
Yeah,
I think that's his saying. But yeah, man. Anything else you want to chop it up on, man?
Before
we get out of here?
Nah, man. We touched on everything, man.
Yeah, man. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. We are back. Hopefully the sound quality picked up. Thanks, Reg, for the lookout. I didn't realize because we do this live. So we stream the YouTube, we stream the Facebook from the Restream app. And these episodes will be posted. They'll be live. You can go back and watch them. We're going to try to we made some adjustments today to move the discussions along a little bit smoother. And I think it went well for us today, man. Yeah. This was nice and smooth. And we got y'all out of here at a decent time because we know Reggie be falling asleep. Yeah, at the keyboard. And my pops, too. So shout out to Pops. Shout out to everybody. Yo, we'll be back next week with another episode. This is Pick and Roll.
We gotta get a guest on here, man.
Yo, anybody wants to come through next week? Let's do it.
Yeah, we gotta get
come
a guest
through.
On
I got 2 more mics. I got all the space in the world for y'all to be on camera. I got chairs. I got all kind of stuff. We can flip this around however. Yeah. So anybody want to be a guest, we'll get the topics together. We'll make this a good time and have a lot of great discussion. And you can also call in. We can do this on here. Yeah. So we can give you a link. You can stream yourself in and sit wherever you are at the podcast. I would just like to ask that you have a decent background and good sound capabilities.
Yeah. Don't have no porn in the background, man. Just keep it. Just kids are watching.
And don't be in your backyard with like a truck going by or somebody shooting a fair one outside your window. I don't need to hear all that.
Yeah, we don't need to hear all that.
Yeah. We're not doing that. But yo, this is the Pick and Roll Podcast Season 3 episode called Prime Time. So look out for it on YouTube. Look out for it on the Indio Group page. And we are out of here, man. Thanks for tuning in.